Yo, what up guys? It's been a minute since I made a video. Hope everyone's having a good 2019. Hope everyone's doing well out there. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about saunas, inflammation, gut health, fermented dairy. And so if these all sound interesting to you, stick around and listen to what I have to say. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's jump right into it. All right, so I just got out of the sauna. It feels incredible. I highly recommend it for anybody that that exercises a lot, where they have like sore muscles, or maybe they're into sports, or whatever it may be, where they can benefit from recovery. The sauna feels wonderful, especially when I'm sore the next day, or have I just started training jiu-jitsu again, so like I have like weird sore muscles, kind of like like my joints and like my neck muscles, and so the sauna really helps. I just briefly want to talk about inflammation really quick and what inflammation is. I've been hearing lately that inflammation is like the cause of disease, and that inflammation is quite literally like the root of human illness, and this is like a total fallacy. This is like not true at all. Inflammation is just it's a symptom. It's like a response from the body. When something happens, there is a reaction, and inflammation is triggered when we put something in our body that damages our body. Then inflammation comes in as a healing response. Inflammation will help bring in oxygen, blood, nutrients. It'll help, reverse the damage. And so inflammation is there to our benefit. It's our body's mechanism to heal itself. So, when we're injured and we have inflammation, I highly recommend not suppressing the inflammation, because like I said, it's just going to help our body to recover. But I would take a look at what's causing the inflammation in the first place. So for example, if somebody has, and we're just going to talk about food, but if somebody has a sensitivity to a particular food, like maybe pasteurized dairy, and it's causing inflammation, it would be why it's like the dairy is the issue. It's not the inflammation. So you just want to take a look at what is triggering inflammation. And this leads me to talking about gut health. So with gut health, there are some particular symptoms that I want to touch on, or issues like Crohn's, IBS, just like irritable bowel syndrome, colitis. All of these are inflammatory gut issues. And this is caused by putting foods into our body that travel through our GI tract that create an inflammatory response. So this means that the foods are damaging our guts, and as a response, inflammation is created to heal the gut. So what we need to do is we need to remove these foods that create inflammation. Some of these common foods may be refined vegetable seed oils, refined carbohydrates, even some particular vegetables like nightshades, for example, pasteurized dairy, just packaged goods in general that just contain, elements that we don't even know how to pronounce. So those are some pretty obvious ones, but like the pasteurized dairy, the refined carbohydrates, the seed oils, the refined sugars, a lot of just the refined products, and some less tolerable plant foods are generally going to be the most inflammatory. Some people don't do well with eggs either. People tend to do very well with meat. Fruit, I think it kind of depends on the fruit itself. But the thing is, it's like one food can create an inflammatory response for one person and not another. And this is determined generally by the gut flora and the condition of the gut itself. It's different from person to person, but the foods that I just listed off are like some general ones, like some ones that just like cause issues for people in general. But then there are some like more particular foods. If you look at like Jordan Peterson and Michaela Peterson, They seem to be like, they were like super sensitive to damn near everything but red meat. So like the underlying cause is like we're putting food in there that's damaging the gut. The villi are what, they absorb the nutrients, they produce red blood cells. They're like these little hairs that are aligned in our small intestine, and these are extremely sensitive. And generally there's like a mucosal lining protecting them. But when we put these damaging foods in there, it destroys the mucosal lining and then eventually damages the villi. So, we can't properly digest, absorb, utilize, and then just make full circle with these foods that we eat. And this leads me to talking about fermented dairy. I've been experimenting with fermented dairy quite a bit now that I've been in Finland. I did a little bit with just raw dairy when I was in Washington, when I first started, or when I was in the beginning stages of like a raw primal carnivore diet. Fermented dairy. I've seen some really great anecdotal videos on YouTube, and I'll post those down below, of people using fermented or raw dairy, like raw milk, fermented yogurt, to reverse a rather messed up gut. People that have taken antibiotics, people that have like inflammatory gut issues like Crohn's, colitis, IBS, etc. From what I've seen, especially like if you check out Mike, the Heal Your Gut guy, not only him, like Ajahn Vonda Planets, and then my own personal experience, my wife's experience, I've seen, and some other videos, I've seen some pretty powerful, pretty powerful testimonials with raw dairy. So like this fermented dairy is going to help reestablish our gut flora with a lot of healthy bacteria. And this healthy bacteria are kind of like warriors against the bad bacteria to help bring it back into balance. When we have candida, it's just the yeast is just flourishing like out of control, and it's dimorphic, so it evolves into candida. And then this good bacteria in the fermented raw milk is really powerful for rebalancing that. And then it's also got immunological benefits. Kind of have trouble saying that. And I've checked out some pretty good studies. I'll see if I can find them and post them down below on the benefits of the bacteria and the fermented milk. So it's commonly thought of that we need to eat like an alkaline diet, and we want to just alkalize our body. And this is kind of a misnomer. It's just like more, it's just like an emotionally loaded statement where people are like, yeah, alkaline, healing, wow. And they get really excited, but they don't understand that, like, for example, a lot of the imbalances, like bacterial, fungal imbalances in our gut, so let's just talk about candida, are alkaline in nature, and they have a shield, like a biofilm. And what we need to do is we need to break down that biofilm and destroy it so we can eliminate this overgrowth. And we do that with foods that acidify our GI tract and alkalize our body, as Ajahn Vonda Planets puts it. Also, shout out to Mike, the Heal Your Gut guy, who I referenced earlier. He's got some really good information. And I mean, I witnessed my wife just like turn her digestion right around within like a really short period of time, or I should say like really improve it within a short period of time with raw dairy. It's also acting as a probiotic. So if you guys are eating a carnivorous diet just because it's the only thing you can really put down, then I highly recommend trying fermented dairy. We get ours from like a local small dairy farm, treats their cows very well. And I understand this is subjective and not everyone's going to agree with it. And I totally understand. I was vegan for 6.5 years. So if you hate my guts, I totally understand it. But, they're like pasture raised, grass fed, et cetera, et cetera. but we go and get raw milk from them, and so we take it home and we just let it sit out. We just let the lid just sit on it to where it gets a little bit of air for like a few days. It ferments, it kind of turns to yogurt, and then we can pretty much incorporate it with anything that we eat or just eat it straight. And it's an incredible probiotic. I've seen it firsthand just do some pretty incredible stuff. So for me personally, it feels really good. It's only improved my digestion. So if you're on like a carnivore diet, just because that's all you can eat, but you want to try to reincorporate new foods, I highly recommend supplementing or using the raw fermented dairy. So one thing my wife was doing is that she would have like a potato, and she would put the fermented dairy on it, like almost like a sour cream, and it was really helping her digest it. And then I think she's gotten to the point now where she doesn't necessarily really need it, but I've noticed that it's like a super probiotic. So if you guys want to experiment with that, I highly recommend it. You could also try it with untreated, unfiltered raw honey, so unheated. That's also medicinal. It's acidic in nature. It's got some good nutrients, so like the B vitamins, for example, which we commonly destroy when we cook food. So it's got some good nutrition. It's extremely bioavailable, and that's the thing with the raw yogurt too, or like the fermented raw dairy, is that it is like extremely bioavailable for somebody that's deficient in anything. So it's like very, very easy to digest and reverse any bacterial, fungal overgrowths, and just help reestablish a healthy gut flora. And a healthy gut flora is a healthy, happy mind. It'll help you produce more serotonin. It's very just like mood elevating. It feels really good in that regard. But it's extremely bioavailable just because it's extremely high in beneficial bacteria as well as living enzymes that help, pre-digest all the nutrients. And it is a very complete food at the same time. It's got, pretty much, it's got a high fat-soluble vitamin content, mineral content. It's got your macros, your fats, your proteins, even your carbohydrates in very small portions. Once it ferments, it kind of the sugars get eaten up by the bacteria, but not all of them. So guys, it's a very complete food. If you want more information, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'll try to put some videos down below. This video is getting a little long-winded, but it's good to get back on camera, talk to you guys a little bit. I hope, like I said, I hope everyone's doing extremely well. All right, and there was just a couple things I want to add too in regard to dairy. I don't think everyone's going to be able to tolerate it. I know even from what I've researched, like a small percentage of people are still not going to be able to tolerate raw, like fermented dairy. There's major issues with pasteurized dairy. It's like a completely different food in itself, especially when it's pasteurized, homogenized, coming from, what are they called, A1 farms, where the cows are just fucking sick. So I'd stay away from that, but not everyone's going to be able to benefit from raw dairy, I'm sure, because there's so many different approaches to healing the gut and reversing chronic illness, and not one thing is going to work for everyone just like this. It's not just like this magic end all be all, but I think it can definitely be beneficial. So I definitely recommend giving it a try if you feel so called to do so. And then, do I think it is necessary? No, I don't think it's necessary, but like I said, I do think it can be beneficial. And I know for me personally, I don't consume it just like all day, every day. It kind of goes in waves. So I might have it, might have quite a bit of it for a period of time, and then I don't have it for months, and then I pick it up again. So I only consume it when I feel called to do so, and I think that's a nice way to go about it. I know people can be there can be different circumstances. So like, if you're using it to reverse digestive issues, then by all means stay on it if it's working for you. But I'm at the point now where I don't necessarily need it, but I enjoy it from time to time. And we've even made some really basic raw cheese with it, which is really good. because you can keep the salt out or like pretty much prepare it however you want. Post your comments down below. Ask me what questions you want. You can reach out to me at dougofOregon@gmail.com. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content, and I'll keep it coming, guys. Thanks.